I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all of the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take the world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Guitar Players Planet.
Down by the water, maybe out the sun, maybe out the daughter when the music man calls. That's when I gotta play. For the things I never had. I'm
Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new. Oh, na 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 na. Seems to me that I have lost my old friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghostly embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to lands of blue. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this blues. But I'm afraid, what might be true, that I might never be back again. Seems to me that I've lost my old friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late.
Someone to take me down at night. Someone to make my day. New revelation fills my soul. Oh, I can waste away. You distracting my attention. You're all that's on my mind. You not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming. All right. Hey, yeah, yeah. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be you, I wanna see you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to tell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. All right. Yeah. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn a new way. I wanna see you, I wanna be you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to tell me, don't try to say it's too late. Yeah, you're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah, 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 I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late, late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're gonna black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue.
Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way that music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. Seems to me that I sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghost embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for lands with blue. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this tune. But I'm afraid, what might be true, that I might never be back Seems to me that I have lost my way. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late.
What have I done? Ooh, what have you seen? Early at night, got in a fight in the candlelight, looking through the screen. Now what have I done? What have you seen? You know there's no picture in love when a person has come in between. Jamie's gone, Jamie's gone. Can't look back, and now he feels so strong. Jamie's gone.
All right, and we be here. What's going on, everybody? We are live again, and it is another Friday night. I see some people out in the chat already saying that they made it to another Friday. So, yes, we all made it to another Friday, and tonight is going to be our little beginners session, our beginners Q&A, and we also have to do a couple of things tonight. We got to crown another picture of the week. Really tight match for that one. And an even tighter match. The picture of the month winner won by one vote.
Whoa!
There were 36 votes, and the person won by one. So really tight. And we're also giving away a Masters of Pixinsight Workshop, and their next one is October 11th, if I remember right. And that's going to be next steps for newbies. So if you're new to watching, using Pixinsight, or even watching a show, or you don't know who Masters of Pixinsight are, definitely give it take a look at, and we give away free shows, free workshops every Friday. And I'm gonna switch something real quick. There we go. Eric popped on. So we got Eric.
Sorry, I'm late, guys. How's
Shut up. You're lucky we love you, man.
I was working.
Yeah, I know.
Happy Friday, everybody.
So, Eric, is
Yeah.
that hoodie a zipper down? It is. All right. See, I just found out with the new vendor that they do sell zipper down. So I put it up there because the one that I got is a pullover, and
Okay.
and I'm a little fat. So I mean, it's a little tight. So this is an XL, and it's a little, it's not tight, but it's a little tight. You know, I get it all in the, you know, I get it from my dad. I get it in the belly and the butt, and that's where my weight goes. And you know, so it's a little tighter. It fits my wife Jen, so I guess it's gonna be it's gonna be taken.
Out, Dan.
What's that?
It just balances itself out.
That's how it works,
The
man.
butt and
That's
the
how it
belly,
works.
right?
Dude, if it didn't, I'd fall one way or the other, I guess. But
Declination.
I'd fall in declination. Eric, I think you need to raise your volume a little bit. You sound a little tinny.
Do I sound a little tinny?
You sound very tinny. Like you're not using that mic. You might be using the other mic.
Okay, hold on. Let me see something.
Yeah, you sound very far away.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Yep. There you go. Oh, that's that one. That's the mic that we're hearing.
How's that?
Now you sound like a air traffic controller.
Oh God! All right.
And Leon's getting larger. Sorry, I digress.
Oh my God! Hold on, give me a minute.
Not many people will get that joke. I'm sorry. That's a pun from Airplane, the movie Airplane, back in the early 80s.
Yeah, let me.
Hello, Newman.
Joey, you ever hang around the gymnasium? No, we won't go there.
Don't you just love it when the dog rubs up and down your leg? Looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. All right, so we are here again, you know, back on. So let's go do the sponsors thing real quick, and let's see. I got to get closer to my keyboard. There we go, and our sponsors. We can't do this without sponsors because we need money to give everybody else. So we got
that.
It's not much better, much better.
There you go.
So Woodland Hills, we give away a gift certificate every month for Woodland Hills for $50. So get prepared for the next one next month. What's Roger over? What's your vector, Victor? Sorry. In the chat. Sorry, my bad. Main sequence level. Thank you, Woodland Hills. Camera and telescopes. Thank you for your gift certificates and the donations that you have given to us. So thank you as well to Prima Luce, Camera Concepts, and Optolong. We're getting very, very close to the giveaway of the SHO narrowband set. We're getting very close. We're 2 months from next Friday is going to be the giveaway. So it's going to be really, really close. Camera Concepts, we just gave away another $50 gift certificate from Camera Concepts. And tonight, we're giving away the Masters of Pixinsight workshop. The next workshop is going to be on October 11th, and that's going to be Next Step for Newbies. That's a Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Go check it out, especially if you're new, or even if you're not new and you win. You could use that voucher for any class that's on their website or any workshop that's on their website. So but definitely check it out. We also have a lot of guests, our members that watch the show, that contribute to the show through our Patreon website. And if you check us out, AstroWorld TV on Patreon, you can not only get perks as far as shirts and gift certificates to the AstroWorld store, also you can see me make a fool out of myself every once in a while. And with their only Patreon members can see it. So thank God for that, because it's only 25 of us. So that being said, Black Hole members, thank you so much. And it goes in level of contributions. So Red Giant members, thank you so much. Main Sequence members, White Dwarf member, 1 member, and 2 members in our Protostar. And if you are still, please, if you are still a member of our YouTube channel, please convert to the Patreon membership. It makes it easier for me to track. I'm going to be sending an email out to the people that are still in. There's only about 11 people that are still in the YouTube channel as far as the perks. And it's just easier to kind of track it if it's just on one site. So please go over to convert to a Patreon member, and then you can see all the videos and join the discussion, which is only Patreon members. November 9th, we have Dr. Sass coming back, return of Dr. Sass from my telescope. He's always a blast to come down and hang out with us. This is his second time on AstroWorld, but it's his first time on his return from Australia, which we're looking forward to hearing out what's going on down there. And November 23rd, we have a Thanksgiving special, and it'll be Dr. Sass's 3rd time, twice in a month. I think that's a record. But twice in 1 month, we'll have Dr. Sass. Charles Bracken will be his 2nd time. And for his 1st time, we got 1, 2, 3, Dr. Max Whippy. So we got authors, astrophotographers, and iTelescope all here for a kind of threesome, just get together and hang out and talk about what's going on in their fields. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget, December 10th, we got Astropalooza coming up. Looking for some more guests to kind of make presentations. So if anybody wants to make a presentation out there that's a member, I would love to get members more involved in this. So if you want to we already got Josh Kovacs coming on and talking about data management, but we also have the astrophotographers, Sean, Amy, Molly, and Nico as well. So looking forward to doing that in December.
Hey, Dan, if I can interject, I talked to Christian this morning, and when he comes on by himself for the show, he's going to actually do the workflow for APP. So that would be really good to help out for people that use APP as their post-processing software.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be good because I know Eric uses APP. I don't really, I'm a one-trick pony. I'll do Eagle and Pixinsight. That's what I do. That's it. And my ASI Air when I pull my red cat out. But so maybe I'm like a one.
But I tell you, APP is making waves, man. They've got new versions out. It's easy to use. It's really easy to use. Its stacking and integration process is awesome. Its mosaic process is awesome. They've got a lot of new updates for star reduction, and I'm still waiting for noise reduction, but they've got star reduction and they've got a few others, but still, and it's the big one is especially the RGB, LRGB or RGB combined, they call it. That tool is great because it takes a lot of the guesswork, out of even trying to do some sort of like pixel math, because you can use different types of formulas. It's got nice sliders, so you can, add a little bit of green or take away, add different, just modify how you want your palette to look. I like it. It's fun. It's
definitely interesting. The one thing that made me shy away from APP was the user interface. To me, it was just kind of old-fashioned, I guess. Like the tabs on the left in the kind of like it was kind of a weird kind of flow to me. You know, it's spelled out for you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all that. It's
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's spelled out for you, but it was just kind of maybe it's just I'm used to other things, and I'm
you're probably you like you said, you're a one-trick pony. You're used to
it took me like what 5 years to 6 years to get rid of my CCD cameras. So I mean,
You should see this image that he took. He sent me an image through WhatsApp today, which is Corona Australia's, and it's all processed in APP. He's going to submit it for an APOD. He's going to get it, and it's going to be up there. This is a beautiful, beautiful photograph.
I want to learn how to totally utilize APP to the max. That's what I want to learn.
Well, you're going to get your wish.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to get our wish, Eric.
And I'm gonna, and maybe I'll get to learn something. So
because if that when Dr. Sass comes on, and if he can spend that time to go through APP and all of this and all of those steps that he does, to get to the point where he got, with the image that he may be submitting for an APOD, that's what I want to learn. That's the stuff. That's the meat and potatoes of it, because it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yep, it's going to be very cool. I'm very excited. I always like to learn new stuff, and that's why I bought the ASI Air and all that kind of stuff, because you know what? Got to learn how to kind of. What's that?
I'll use WBPP when they pry APP from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah. Well, I like WBPP. It works for me. Does that rhyme?
Yeah.
Rhymes, right? Yeah, that rhymed. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But
stop it.
Inconceivable. But APP is good. A lot of people use it. And a lot of people is going to benefit from what Dr. Sass is going to show on November 9th. So it's going to be cool. And maybe I can find some way to incorporate that into my workflow and work it out. I would love to have somebody come on and show us how they incorporate certain things of Photoshop in there and Lightroom and stuff like that. I would love to have that as well.
Yeah. Even if I can spend, even after Dr. Sass comes on, and even if I'm going to try to get his, Pete, maybe you can give me his contact info, or he can give me his contact info after or later, because I would love to just spend, a couple hours also, just like with with Ron, I would be more than happy to pay, Dr. Sass for his time and just sit down with him and go through APP. That would be, and understand it, even more so. I think it would be, for me, it would be great,
What you don't ask and you may receive, But
anyway.
Yeah. So we got some things to do tonight. Like I said, picture of the month, picture of the week, Masters of Pixinsight. You got your demonstration. I do not have a demonstration tonight. I worked too late, and this week's been a crazy week for me, so I was not able to do a PowerPoint like I normally do. Although I can talk a little bit about my new toys.
Nice.
Before you get started, Dan, can I make a recommendation here?
Yeah.
There's as Nina, we all know that Nina is free software, but there's also another free software that's out there for data capture. And it's off of the Moravian camera site. It's called SIPS, Scientific Imaging Processing. And it's available. It's a freebie. And you can go to their website at Moravian Cameras, go to their downloads, and you'll actually see the Windows version, the Linux version, and the Mac version of the software. And once again, it's a free software as well. So if people are looking for free software, there's another one that I would recommend that you take a look at. I've been playing with it as well, and it's a pretty interesting little software program.
Okay. I didn't know this, Al. So apparently iTelescope has monthly APP training sessions on Zoom.
Oh, they do? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's awesome. Okay.
That's something that maybe we should look up.
I think I shall.
I think we both shall.
I think I shall. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting is Christian gives Mabula ideas on what the next update should include. So really, as Christian, that's helping Mabul out on this.
All right.
You know what? And you know what? There's no better input of information on updates and future improvements than the end user. And it's one thing where you're sitting there and you're using it, you're using it. You know what works, you know what doesn't, you know it could be better. Sometimes when you're in development, it gets lost in translation because if you're just a developer and not a user, which there are a lot of people out there that do that they just put it out there and they make their money and that's it. But you know what? If you sit there and have a bunch of end users, and that's why ZWO does a decent job with their development as well, because they pool a bunch of people that actually use their product and they go on their recommendations on what improvements to make.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
nice. And I was just happening to just hop on the iTeleport website, and also they're doing a bunch. They do a lot of webinars here. They've got their site
webinars.
actually,
I know, yeah, the webinars I've seen. I get emails.
Voyager. They've got one for Voyager. That makes me think of Pete, because I think you use Voyager, do you not, or no?
Yeah, what it is Christian does a lot. Virtually, it's probably at least a couple of times a week. He does webinars from his home in Vancouver, and literally he talks about everything from APP to Voyager to iTelescopes. I mean, as I said, you can definitely log in and you can just watch these webinars because they're very informative. And as I said, when I spoke to him today, he's really looking forward to coming on the show. He likes kind of hanging out with us. He just goes, it's such informal. It's such an informal, conversation. He says it was just a lot of fun that one day that I came on. And as a matter of fact, what he's doing is he's hooking up with Craig Stock, and he's going down to Utah Desert Remote here in October. And they're literally going to actually go out together. They're going to do raw data capture, and they're going to actually do a whole workflow for a couple of days with a webinar off of his website. So, I mean, it's something to really be seen. And, we've seen Craig's images. Craig is a great astrophotographer and post-processor. So he's going to go down there and he's going to hang out with Craig, which is kind of cool. So, as I said, we've got some really good guests that come on the show. And I always think that, what we do is we give our best recommendations to say, look, if you've got the time, go hang out with these people because they're a wealth of information. You'll learn so much to hone your skill set in post-processing and data capture that you really should take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Absolutely. Because we have a bunch of guests and guest shows. And if you want to take a look in the YouTube channel I made a folder for all shows with guests. So you don't have to go searching for all these things. If you want to see something about a past guest, all you got to do is go shows with guests and you'll see all the guests we have. Dr. Christian Sass was on earlier this year. And no, maybe late last year. You could just go there, click Dr. Sass, boom, go. And then you can watch what he had to say that night. Charles Bracken to, Richard Wright, whoever you want. They're all up there.
Yeah, even talking to Richard is looking forward to coming back on. He wants to come back on sometime late November, December. He goes, Pete, absolutely. He says, let me just kind of get a little bit more on my stuff that I'm working on. So I got something to present, but he says, absolutely, send the email out. I'm ready to come back on. So we really do a good job here. And it's kudos, Dan, to you, to Eric, to Scott. I mean, we just do a great job of just being very, very informal, providing hands-on information. And literally, what works for us. I mean, we really are a very good group here. And as I said, we do very good at that. So kudos to everybody.
We're in any other way, my friends. We're in heaven any other way.
Absolutely.
But actually, Pete, maybe you could touch on this because I'm pretty sure that you do. What are your thoughts? Because Dave Barnett, who is an astrophotographer on Long Island, a good friend of mine, is asking input regarding Prism.
Well, there's a problem with Prism right now is that Prism is developed by a PhD specialist out of France. And it was the rights here in America were bought by a gentleman called Hamza, who actually had Hyperion Astronomy. Hamza basically was up and running for close to about 4 to 5 years, but he's decided, he called me last week and he said, Pete, I'm shutting down Hyperion. He says, I've just decided that I'm getting out of it. So consequently, Prism now is kind of going to be, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I personally like it. I've used it. It's a great, great program. The problem that Hansa had with the developer is that he wanted to kind of make a lot of the features benefits user friendly to the amateur astronomer. And unfortunately, the person that was developing it, being a PhD specialist, he said it's going to be done my way or it's not going to get done. And so consequently, Hans and him had locked horns many times. And literally there was times where he just said, fine, if that's the way you want to do it, I don't want to worry about it. Right now, Prism in its own format, it's a good program. It offers a multitude of different capabilities. It's a great program. I was hoping to have at one time Hansa to come on and talk about it, but unfortunately, since he's closed up Hyperion, it's a no-go now. So that's kind of where that's where Prism is. It's going to be kind of in limbo right now, and I don't know what's going to happen with it, unless somebody else decides to maybe step up and take it and kind of run with it. But if you've got access to it, it's a great program. I use it. It's a very, very good program. Very intuitive. A lot of sophistication if what you're looking for, what you want to do. You can customize it to what you want to do. The only thing I don't like about it is if I had to use a planetarium program and if I have to use the SkyX as the standard, I like the planetarium program. The graphics on the SkyX to me are the best. It's a little bit too busy, too much information on the Prism. Yeah. That's the only downside that I can recommend on Prism. It's just that planetary program.
Right. Well, I unfortunately I guess we'll all be in waiting. Hopefully that Prism continues under whatever management it goes to, because I've seen it work through Pete, and it looks really great, but
it's phenomenal because one of the things you can use up to like 6 different cameras. I mean, it'll control 6 different cameras, which is fantastic, because now we're getting to the point where people want to use more than just a solo camera. They want to use a dual camera, maybe 3 cameras. So it does give you that capability to actually use it. I don't know how many other softwares are out there that can give you that capability for multiple cameras. So that is something to consider. I know that SIPs can give you that capability. And, as I said, Dan, we've talked about this, and Eric, you chime in as well. There's so many different data acquisition softwares out there. Just get yourself familiar with one initially. We've talked about it. Just focus on one. Know that inside and out before you start to go to a second one, because once you go to the second and third one, once you know that first one, you know the nuances of that first one, the second or third one, you'll be able to pick up real quick. The learning curve will be so much easier, because you know what it's like, the learning curve. It's the initial learning curve of learning a data acquisition software is always the hardest thing.
Yeah, and then, just like we talk about on the show quite a bit, where you jump from one to one to one really fast. I want the next best thing. You never really get to a solid foundation of knowledge with any of them. And, it just makes your journey a lot harder, because you're relearning the same way to do a process that you learned on the first one, but it's different on the second one. It's called something else. And now you're learning it all over again because the defaults are different and all this other kind of stuff. So just buy a piece of software and learn it. Now, if you're going from a free piece of software to a paid piece of software, that's a jump that a lot of people make. We got our first spammer. There we go.
Oh, boy.
Chicken McFry. Somebody's making fun of me. User in timeout. You're in timeout, McFry. So, Maxie, my buddy Maxie's in the chat. Yeah, he's a This guy's he
Yes.
was on the show back in December, if I remember right. He did
Because Dan, getting back to what you're saying,
yeah.
is there's no one piece of data acquisition software that's going to give you everything that you want. That's
Right.
that's a fallacy. There's no one piece. Everybody has something quite unique that it makes it unique. But if you were looking for one, and I think the closest right now that we can get, and I think we can all be in a testament to this, would be Nina. I mean,
Yeah.
we got to respect Nina. The developer of Nina is absolutely on top of that, and he's absolutely adding third-party
Plugins.
development,
Yep.
everything to it. So
Yeah.
and for freeware, how do you beat it? You can't beat it. You really can't beat it. It really is the standard right now, more so than SGP, because you're right. All these softwares kind of have a longevity, and then they kind of just fall by the wayside. But as I said, get just used to one, and like Dan says, get used to one software and become an expert at it, and then you can kind of move to software 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, because if you're going to hop from very rapidly from one thing to the next, all you're doing is hurting yourself, and most likely you're also going to start confusing yourself as well.
Yeah.
You're going to start confusing yourself, because you're going to, be thinking on one piece of software, but you're using software B, but you're thinking about, what software A can do. You start to be like, I thought this could do this. But then all of a sudden, you're like, "Oh no!"
That was something else.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, what I always had the problem myself, and one of my former mentors, who was actually one of my boss in a former career, he always gave me a hard time because he said I was always chasing the shiny new quarter. Because I always saw the new stuff. I always wanted to get the new stuff, the new cool things. To your point, Pete, and you as well, Dan, sometimes utilizing, what's been proven and sticking with just that one thing and being able to spend time with that and master that one thing is the best way to go. To become that expert, that subject matter expert on that one thing. Then if you're ready to move over and try something else after that, then hey, go for it. Have fun. There's nothing wrong with trying something new, but it's probably a better idea, to try is to master that first one before you start going off and on other tangents and trying different things. I mean, I don't hear that people who go from Scott, tell me, you don't hear that many people going from switching over from Nikon to Canon or from Canon to Sony or, when or Pentax, when they're choosing cameras or when they're doing photography, do you? Usually they go to one body, they learn that one body, and they're pretty much, either a Canon or a Nikon person, or the Coker.
It's funny, Dan, because you brought up an interesting point here is that we look at the graphical interface and the way it looks. Does it have that real pretty look to it? Case in point, Maxim DL. Maxim DL looks like, to me, Windows XP. It has that graphical interface. But I tell you what, Maxim DL is a classic program. It's got everything that you can want, including dome control. It may not look pretty because, once again, it's 15-year-old software. But I tell you what, it's like a classic. It never goes out. It'll always be there. And they're slowly adding to it. Like about every 8 months, they'll add, they'll come up with a new version to it. So it's unique in that it doesn't have the real pretty interface, graphical interface like a Nina has. But I tell you what, you can definitely run Maxim DL and you'll still be able to get good data acquisition. So it's, as you said, just stay with one program, get yourself real familiar with it.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. Unfortunately, English standards are not going to happen from software. Never going to happen. It's not going to happen in Windows. It's not going to happen in Mac. It's not going to come with any bought software. There's going to be no standard because you know what? Everyone's out to make a buck. And so everybody wants to be the evil word is called proprietary. And that is the evil word of the day, folks, proprietary. And they want you to be a brand loyalist. And that's what they want you to do. And brand loyalty is not a bad thing. Just like, Eric was talking about with the Pentax and the Canon, Nikon, Sony, Anagram, or Pete with his software about Nina or whatever. I always call it a Coke or Pepsi thing, and that's what it is. And you know what? I was a brand loyalist to CCD for 15 years. Well, you know what? Technology changes. It's time to get better. So I cried my last tear and I moved to the CMOS world. But now I'm a brand loyalist to my guys and my friends at Prima Luce. I'm a brand loyalist to them because their products work. They work. They work for me. It's more of a better statement. They work for me. And what the bottom line is, you as the artist, the astrophotographer, the astronomer, whatever you call yourselves, you need to go through that journey and that learning path and discover what works for you and what makes your images the best that you can do. Not saying that, well, Dan's a Prima Luce fan, I'm going to be a Prima Luce fan too because Dan is. No, you got to sit there and say, hey, well, Deep Sky Stacker and Pip works for me. And that's okay. You don't have to spend $400 on Pixinsight. But, just figure out what works and what makes you happy to do what you do. And if your pictures are good, be happy with that. That's it.
Be happy with it.
Yep. CWO forces the issue. Josh, you're here. Hogarth, how you doing? Steve? Does anyone have any recommendations? Here we go. Oh, Pete, I know you got something for this. Recommendation.
CWO, resistance is futile. Let them work.
I mean, it's unfortunately that with the DSLR camera, the guy had died in Japan. The Hugh-Tech camera that I have was probably one of the last ones that he actually made, but that's the only one that I could recommend. Is that when he died, Hugh-Tech basically took that off the line, but Hugh-Tech actually had a Canon 60 because of the two versions of the 60. There's the 61 and the 62. The 61 has the lowest read noise, and boy, he made a beautiful Peltier cooler on that camera where it pulls down to minus 40 degrees below ambient, and it is just a sweet DSLR camera. Unfortunately, he died, and there's just nobody now that can run that over. So I hate to say this, but you're just going to have to get a dedicated astrophotography cooled camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Orion chiller box. It's almost the same thing as the Hugh-Tech. Very similar. And for a limited, very small, minuscule period of time, Prima Luce fooled around with the concept. And it never got off the launching pad, but they kind of fooled around with a couple of things. But again, that's one of the things that people have been struggling with DSLRs forever. It's never changed. The only thing that's changed is that the read noise of the chips have started to drop. Okay. But you're still coming up with dead pixels, thermal noise, all that kind of stuff is still happening.
Let me ask this.
No,
when it comes to dealing with this, yeah. What about this time of year? Now is this time of at this time of year when things are starting to get cooler, now is the time to really go ahead and start breaking out your DSLR, and this is, so you don't have to worry about, as much that thermal read noise and that, on that, or that heat on that sensor because it's getting cooler. So absolutely. I think personally for me, now would be a great time for me to get out there and utilize my 6D, because I have the version 1 Canon 6D. Now, you know, for me to utilize that full frame camera, this is the time. This until next March or April is the time for me to do it. You know, so I would say the same thing, you know, to you, Josh. This is the time to go for it.
All right. Well, this is something that was just put on the chat by somebody in the chat. But check this out. Ready?
Okay.
And I'll put it on live for you so you can see it. There you go.
$165.
But that's for what the EOS. That's for the R5 and 6, right? That's for that mirrorless, isn't it?
Let's see. Yeah. R5 and 6.
Okay.
But well, there's an option for you. You know what I mean?
If you have
the R5 and 6, but that's something.
You have the R5 and 6, maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Who makes it, Dan?
It's called Tilta, Tilta.
And where are they located, the manufacturer?
Good question. Let's see in the bottom and see.
Is it a China-made product, or is it an American-made product, or
contact, Hydron, shot by camera. Looks like there's other cameras involved. Let's see, dealers. The Argentina, Brazil. There is. There's a bunch of U.S. dealers, but let's see.
Go back to where it says about. Go back to where it says about, and right there, the second column, second one down, about. That'll tell you who. Yeah, right there, you had it. Yep. So let's see anything. Hold, scroll back up the second paragraph. Second paragraph, China. Based in widely known as China Silicon Valley. So it's a handmade product.
So it's a Chinese company.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, for $165, it's kind of hit or miss, but you can give it a shot.
Yeah.
Shot by Canon. There's a bunch of grips and stuff. I don't know. I don't see any. I don't know if there's any other cooling involved, but this is something to take a look for.
Good.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's nice. You know, you got an R5, R6. There's your cooling solution. Yeah. Everyone's like, it's Chinese.
Yeah. Once again, you don't know what the vibration is. I mean, what's the vibration? I mean,
that
going to cause
be
issues?
A big issue, I would think, with the fan blowing attached to the camera. But
yeah. So, you know, for $165, I mean, if you can afford it and say, okay, give it a whirl and just see if it's worthwhile, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today is the beginners Q&A. That being said, I know that Eric has a presentation that he has been dying to get going for 2.5 weeks now. He's been trying to get it on, and you know, things just come up. So you ready to go, Eric? Or
yeah, sure. Why not? Okay,
there you go. Oh my goodness. You were so excited about doing it, and then now you're playing it off. Now you're playing it off. I mean, come on.
Fine. I'll go. All right.
Is that 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3 go?
Oh man. All right. Let me.
I'll make you big.
Make me big. Make me big. All right. Let me share my screen here. All right. So I just want to make sure. Let me hide that part. Okay. So this is about this presentation for our Beginner Friday talks about star catalogs. So let's go ahead and let's hop in here. Now, star catalogs. or astronomical catalogs, just to be more precise. Now, there was some fun facts that when I was doing this research that I thought were pretty interesting. Like, for one, did you know that there's at least one astronomical catalog for every letter in the alphabet? I had no idea. Actually, there's one for every number, from one through 9, and always from A through Z. There is a star catalog named for someone or something.
Wow.
So I thought that was really cool. Now, astronomical catalogs, what they are, they're usually the result of an astronomical survey of some kind. Now, these catalogs are usually based on something in common, like types of objects, stars, nebulae, their origin, their magnitude, or what we, the brightness of an object. That's what we call the magnitude. I believe it's the lower the number, the brighter the star, the brighter the object. The means of detection, how it was detected, as well as their methods of discovery. How were these objects or stars discovered? Now, the first known star catalog was compiled in 129 BC by the Greek astronomer Hipparchus of Messier. And it basically, he was giving the celestial longitude and latitude of about 850 stars. And this catalog was actually expanded by the Egyptian astronomer Ptolemy of Alexandria, which is known as the Amalgamus, which he compiled in 140 AD. So this is this photo that you see here is one of the few sculptures that have survived in ancient Greece that refers to Hipparchus and his star catalog. So, for example, when I was mentioning, the number of these different types of catalogs and how there's so many types, 1C through 9C, those are actually editions of the Cambridge catalog of radio sources, because they're also radio telescopes, and those radio telescopes are listening or observing through radio waves. That's the catalogs that they use, and the latest one is 9C. The ESO catalog, which is the European Southern Observatory catalog, is the catalog that was from observations from observatories in Chile, La Silla and Paneral. Now, one thing to note is, and I'm sure as people who have looked at these different star catalogs, and astronomers and us as well, who have a bit more experience utilizing these star catalogs, we've noticed that stars and objects, they actually may have one or actually more designations in a catalog. So what we're going to do is, when we go through this presentation, we're going to highlight on some of the catalogs that we might use in deep sky imaging, and these aren't in any particular order here. So the first one is NGC, which is the new general catalog of nebulae and clusters of stars, which was compiled by John Louis Emile Dyer in 1888. And the NGC contains around 7,840 objects, which include galaxies, star clusters, and emission nebulae, such as the North America Nebulae, which is NGC 7000. And these all have the designation of NGC. 7380, which is the Wizard. 3628, which is the Hamburger Galaxy, which is part of the Leo triplet. The California Nebulae, which is 1499, which is one of my images right here, as well as the Rosette, which is 2237, and this is actually a photo of John Dreyer right here. IC, or the index catalog. This actually is a supplement to the NGC. And this contains an additional 5,386 objects. And so, for example, some of those objects will include 405, which is a flaming star nebula, and 410 here, which is the Tadpole Nebula. You have the blue horsehead, which is 4592. And one of my favorites, 4603, Royal Fucus, the the cloud complex. Now, this is probably the one that I'm sure every amateur astronomer knows. This is probably the one that we all probably cut our teeth on, which is Messier. This Messier's catalog is a set of 110 astronomical objects that were cataloged by the French astronomer Charles Messier, which is called his catalog of nebulae and star clusters. Now, fun fact here is that Messier he was only interested in finding comets. So he created this list of 110 objects as those non-comet objects that were frustrating the heck out of him as he was trying to hunt for them. So he actually made this list of these 110 objects to say, okay, these aren't comets. So, but I'm gonna mark these down here so I can try to avoid these areas. So many of Messier's objects are still referenced by their Messier numbers. And the catalog includes most of the astronomical objects that can be easily observed in the northern hemisphere, and many of these objects are very popular targets for amateur astronomers, such as M1, which is a Crab Nebula, M13, the Hercules cluster, which is a globular star cluster, M31, of course, the Andromeda Galaxy, and M42, the Great Orion Nebula, and M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy. And here is a photo of Monsieur Messier. And next, we have Caldwell. Now, the Caldwell catalog is a catalog of about 109 star clusters, nebulae, and galaxies that were observed, that are being observed by amateur astronomers. And this was compiled by Sir Patrick Caldwell Moore as a complement, actually, to the Messier catalog, which is what I mentioned. A lot of different catalogs that are out there are actually complements to other older catalogs. So, for example, C4, the Iris Nebulae, which is what I mentioned before. They have, these objects can have other designations. The Iris Nebula in Caldwell is C4, but in the NGC catalog, it's 7023. C6, which is the Cat's Eye Nebula. The Fireworks Galaxy, which is C12. You have the Flaming Star, which is what I showed you earlier, which is in Caldwell, it's Caldwell 31, but in the index catalog, it's 405. And the Helix Nebula, which is Caldwell 63. And here is also a photo of Sir Caldwell Moore. And here you have the Helix and the Iris Nebula. Barnard. Now, this is a compilation from American astronomer Edward Emerson Barnard. He compiled a list of dark nebulae, which are some of my favorite targets. And they're known as the Barnard Catalog of Dark Markings in the Sky. And this is about 369 nebulae listed by Barnard, and these have become known as Barnard objects. And probably one of the most famous or most well-known ones to amateur astronomers especially is Barnard 33, the Horsehead Nebula. And then you also have Barnard 72 right here, which is known as the Snake Nebula. And then there's others such as B228, the Dark Wolf Nebula, 142, which is known as the E Nebula. And if you've ever noticed when you're photographing M20 or the Trifid Nebula, there is a dark area in the Trifid Nebula that is also considered a Barnard object, and that's designation B85. And here's a photo of Edward Emerson Barnard. Another one that we've also utilized quite often, at least I do, are the Sharpless objects, the Sharpless catalogs, which have been designated SH1, and more recently, the more modern one is SH2, which is the final version. The first edition was published in 1953, and it holds 142 objects. And the second and final version, which is the one we use now, SH2, was published by Stuart Sharpless, who was also an American astronomer, in 1959, and that contains 312 objects. And the Sharpless catalog, it contains different types of planetary, nebulae, supernova, and at about, in total, around 313 hydrogen-2 regions. So, for example, here we have SH Sharpless 101, which is the Tulip Nebula. We have the Flying Bat Nebula, SH2 129. We have the Lion, and again, SH2 126, the Bubby Nebula. There it is with this other designation, NGC 7365. And previous. And SH2 276, which is the Barnard's Loop right there in Orion. All right, now I can forward. And this is Dr. Beverly Lenz, and she's an American astronomer as well, who developed two catalogs. Lenz catalog of bright nebulae, which is designation LBN. And she began this in the 1960s, and this catalog was actually based off of a study that she was doing of the red and blue prints from an actual sky atlas, the National Geographic Palomar Observatory Sky Atlas. And it contains supernova remnants, reflection, and H2 emission nebulae. And they're basically categorized through their magnitudes. Remember what I said, that some catalogs, they're cataloged based off of certain criteria, hers are based off of magnitude. And these are based off of the magnitudes of 1, which is the brightest, to 6, which is considered very dim. And some of her designations for objects were the Flaming Star Nebula. Again, hers was considered, has been designated LBN 795. Then we also have Thor's Helmet here, which is LBN 1041. The Sol Nebula, which is 667. The Jellyfish, and the Pelican, 844 and 350 respectively. And another one of her catalogs is the catalog of dark nebulae, which is LDN. This catalog was published in 1962, and she used the same Sky Atlas, the National Geographic Palomar Observatory Sky Atlas, to catalog these bright nebulae. She also used it to catalog the dark nebulae. And this one, she actually based this, instead of off of magnitude, she based these dust cloud structures based off of their opacity, from 1 to 6, with 6 being the most opaque or most. So there are several here that I have listed, but probably 2 that you may know more commonly would be 1235, which is the Dark Shark Nebula, and 1251, which is the Rotten Fish, which are both in the constellation of Cepheus. So we use these star catalogs ourselves. We use them through very different, we have different tools that we use these star catalogs with. We can, and primarily when we're using these in astronomy and astrophotography, we're using several different tools and applications that are going to utilize these catalogs for locating particular stars, the planets, and deep sky objects. 2 of the more common methods that we use and tools that we use that utilize star catalogs are when we're using GoTo and when we're using plate solving in our acquisition software. So with GoTo, we all know pretty much what GoTo is. That's computerized tracking. Our mount. They use our hand controllers, and they contain several different star catalogs. I believe my Celestron, it contained at least, I think, 10 different catalogs, from Messier to Caldwell to IC to NCG, and I believe several others. And these are what they're in these catalogs are in these databases are what's used for during the for your mount to slew to those intended targets that you want to go to for viewing or for imaging. Some applications and tools that are used through GoTo and utilizing those SCAR catalogs would be Sky Safari, Stellarium, Sky Portal, which is Celestron's version of Sky Safari, and CWPI, which is also from Celestron. It's actually a CPWI. It should be plain wave. And of course, plate solving and using those, and again, that acquisition software. And for those that are new and don't know what plate solving is actually that method that's used to determine exactly where the telescope is pointing in the night sky, and by utilizing star fields and those images to a database of star positions, those catalogs. And upon matching those images of stars, the plate solving application returns that the information of the right ascension and declination to center that image. So most of our astronomy software that we use for acquisition and imaging utilizes plate solving to determine their location, such as Nina, Sequence Generator Pro, Voyager, and my ASIR. So in conclusion, the stars and objects and the objects around them, they've been cataloged since antiquity. And right now, the most comprehensive star catalog to date has mapped over 1.7 billion stars, based off of observations from the European satellite Gaia. So as stars are born, they evolve and they move over time, so will catalogs. Catalogs will do the same thing. They'll evolve, some will go away, and astronomers will have new ones. But astronomers, they'll continue to make these discoveries, they're going to start making new catalogs, and they're going to make new catalog destinations, adding new objects to the old objects, while at the same time, these catalogs also, pay respect and homage to those scientists and astronomers, because it actually immortalizes these people, through their discoveries and their contributions. So and that's it. Pretty. So cool. Any questions for you guys?
Well, you got a lot of nice comments in the chat. So great job with the presentation, especially the history behind it. It seems like you did a lot of research into these catalogs and the history of how they became what they are. And no, Eric did not hit the ARP catalog. But there are
No, I did not.
There are plenty of catalogs other than what. If Eric was going to go through every catalog out there, we would have to make the show about 7 hours. So
longer.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's a catalog for every alphabet, for every letter, and for every number, there's a catalog.
Yeah.
For every, and there are more. We have 26 letters in the alphabet. You probably have 3 to 4, maybe even 5 catalogs per letter. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And as a matter of fact, I was able one time to see visually an ARP galaxy from Cherry Springs, and it was very, very strange. I was looking, and I have it in my my Sky Tools. That's how old this is. My Sky Tools planner, where I keep all my notes. I was in Cherry Springs, and I was looking at a small fuzzy. I was going through the Herschel catalog.
Mm-hmm.
My 18-inch scope, my 18-inch obsession. This is what I was using, and I'm looking at it, and I see this galaxy, and I thought I had a floater. I thought I had a cataract or something like that. Because I swear I see a brightening and you could easily kind of say it was core brightening in a galaxy, but it wasn't. It was too diffused to kind of. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at the map on Sky Tools, and I'm walking up the ladder, and I'm looking at the map on Sky Tools, and I'm walking up the ladder, and there's nothing on the map. There's nothing there. So I'm like, what's going on? So I'm talking to my friend Rich Huber. I'm like, Rich, go up. Do you see what I see? He's like, yeah, I see it. He's like, well, what happens if you zoom in on the object that you're looking at? So I zoom in, and sure enough, behind the object is an ARP galaxy. And
wow,
we
what were you
able,
actually? You said you were on an object, and right behind it was the galaxy.
And I saw a brightening. It was like a fuzzy galaxy, and behind, like in that galaxy, I saw a brightening, which started to ask the question of what it was. And we just got down and what's that?
Gravitational lensing.
Could be. I don't know, but I'm not the JWST, but hey, but it was really, really cool to see that. And I actually, it's not like one of those things where you get a hole in one and no one ever sees it. I actually have confirmation of multiple people, and one of them, unfortunately, he passed away, was a master observer and a past secretary of the Astronomical League. So it was fun to have them all together and actually see that through my 18-inch obsession. It was pretty wild.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's the best thing I ever saw through a telescope, because it was just so unexpected.
And that was an ARP galaxy, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool.
Peculiar galaxies, hey.
But let's see what's going on. People just hanging out in the chat, so that's cool. Yeah. So Eric, nice job on that presentation. Very nice job.
Thanks.
Really good. You got a lot of great comments on there. My obsession does see a lot of dust now. It's been in a storage facility since 2018. So it's too big. It's too big. These things go down. But it's big. Unfortunately, I was going to image tonight, and I was going to take out the 80 and do some RGB with hey Astra, my dog's coming in. Do some RGB shooting with the 183 for the Ring Nebula, and part of my D&D meets astrophotography thing, and but unfortunately I got 20 somewhat mile an hour winds, and that's not really good for an 80 millimeter scope.
That stinks.
It's a new moon, just about clear as a bell.
Wait a minute. Sorry. What did Cap say? He said, Eric says Chile like he eats pretty poop.
You finally saw that.
Oh, God. Whatever, dude. Pardon me.
You know what? We have a lot of things that we kind of have our own kind of accents to. But I think Eric's got the most of them. It's like the Pleiades. The Pleiades was the best. That's what you get on live TV. You get these things, and sometimes Chile. Somebody said you sound like you're from a Grey Poupon commercial.
Chile. It's not Chile. It's Chile.
Chile.
Oh God, that's funny. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cap.
Of course, we have lots of fun here. We make fun of each other. We have lots of fun. But while you were doing your presentation, I thought of what I'm actually going to do next week.
Okay.
And I'm not saying what I'm doing.
Okay.
So
find it. Don't tell nobody then. Just go on with your bad self. Go.
I'm not saying anything. But I didn't know that about the catalogs, that there's one for every letter and one for every number. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that research. I learned it. I learned something.
You learn. I'm gonna teach you something. I'm gonna learn you something.
I'm gonna learn you something. I can enunciate Chile.
Come on.
You are smart. Gee, mister, you're so smart. Yeah, I mean, that LBN and LDN history was really cool. I had no idea on a lot of this stuff, but not, and you know how hard it is to try to find. You're trying to find photos of some of these astronomers. It was like, wow.
Trust me, it's not easy.
Wow, this is tough. It's like they don't want to be photographed. They don't want to be celebrities.
No,
but guess what?
I did a history of the difference between an apochromat and an achromat. And when they were building, and because I'm going to save this for another presentation later on, not the one for next week, but for the one maybe for the week after. When they were building the achromat and they were putting the pieces together, there's a little scandal about what happened there. There's a little scandal, little corporate kind of espionage going on in there. Oh yeah, but I'll save that for another show. I think that was the beginning of the tort law. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was all about. It all started in the 1700s, but we won't even go there. But yeah. It's a lot of stuff. There was a lot of. It's a cool story, and I'll tell it on a future presentation again, because if you saw my video on that, then you know the history. But I'll do it again for the rest of everybody that doesn't know it. But thank you, Hogarth, for switching over to our Patreon account. Thank you so much for switching by. So awesome. And you already got a shirt, Hogarth, so you're not getting another one. So maybe since you upgraded
come on, man. He's like, really? Come on, man.
No, however, since you upgraded your membership, I'll send you a gift card to the AstroWorld store. How about that? There you go.
There you go. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, the quality of the stuff with Printful, which is what we're using now, it's pretty darn good. It's just as good as Stitch America, and it's just as good. It's really, really good. I showed the hoodie, the pullover hoodie. Mm-hmm. It's nice and embroidered the same as the shirt. It's almost the same exact thing. As a matter of fact, I think the world here is it's about the same color wise.
I think it's blue.
It looks darker here than here. But
it does a little bit.
It is a little bit darker here. It's a little bit darker, but
okay.
But you also got the iron on the back, which is cool. And then
that's cool.
I got this for outside, so when I don't have hockey season and I got to take the Islander flag down, I have the AstroWorld flag.
Oh, that's right. When they don't make the playoffs, right, Dan?
Made Tavares break his ankle on the second game of the season.
Wow.
Oh, man. It's tough. It's tough. Did I just lose my mic? No. It's tough being an Islander fan. It really is. They used to. And this is the last I'll say about hockey.
Hold on. Oh, cry me a river. Hold on. You won 4 in a row in the 70s. I have suffered since 67. So 80s, don't tell me.
80s, not 70s, 80s. 80s, man. Up to 83, tough guy. I love when he goes up to the front of the mic and he doesn't have the mic on. He had something all nice to say and his mic was off.
Quick, hit the off the rail button, Dan. Quick, hit the off the rail button.
Oh man.
There you go. Scott
There
just
it
turned his mic
goes.
on.
Yeah, there it goes. There it is.
Don't make me pull this car over. I'll do it.
Boys, don't make me pull this car over. I will pull this car over right
There you
now,
go.
young man.
You got knocked the F out.
Oh, dear Lord. You know it's Friday. You know it's freaking Friday.
It's the end of the week.
Oh,
It's gotta be a
gosh.
Friday. I swear.
Oh man, did
swear.
you see that?
Gotta be
I never saw somebody's head get blown off like that before. Did you see that? There's blood and guts all over the place.
Oh, sweet Lord. I'm just glad. I'm glad I got through my presentation and gave a little bit of education before this thing went this far off the rails.
I'm telling you, it's a
Giving
lot of fun.
Giving a little bit of learning for some folks.
No, we're teaching them about the finer art of the Motion Picture Association. That's what.
Oh God, where's the ministry of silly walks? Oh God, here we go.
Oh, that's it. So Josh actually was taking a Vornado fan for his DSLR, and he has it blowing up into the camera on the back end, and he's down to 19 Celsius so far. So
what was he doing with the fan?
The Vornado fan to cool his DSLR.
Vornado?
He's got it blowing. Vornado's just a type of fan.
Okay, what kind of fan is it? I don't
So
think
you
I've
plug it
ever heard
into
of
a wall.
Okay,
It's like the one that's behind me.
I don't.
We don't see anything.
We
behind
see
you.
nothing behind you
Big
except for
bright
a
light.
chandelier.
Chandelier.
How many degrees Fahrenheit is 19 degrees Celsius?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to do that, Josh, to equal out the darks. I mean, that's something that DSLR people have been struggling with regarding temperature and darks for a long time. And
just
you know,
where's Josh located at? Hey Josh, where are you located at?
so he's got it down 5 degrees with the fan. So it went down from the 24 to 19. So he's still playing around with it, but yeah, okay.
Let me. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, that's what they are. All right,
Yep.
I got you. Because let me ask, because
Michigan.
I'm kind of curious.
Josh is from Michigan.
Because I'm trying to think if there was a way to, you won't get perfect, but try to get as close as you can. Would it be? How would you best time it? I mean, I guess you'd have to wait until or set your alarm and get up in the middle of the night or something and go down and put the cap on like at around, I don't know, 2:00 in the morning or something.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
You know what I did when I was shooting DSLR? This is what I did. I had a temperature log and a book. Okay, and I just looked at the temperature, and I had an outside thermometer. I looked at the temperature, and I said, okay, it's 78 degrees. Now, since the camera doesn't have any cooling anyway, if it's 78 degrees outside, no matter what it is, the camera's going to be close to the same temperature if I go an image on another 78 degree day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I will just sit there and I'll make a dark catalog of anything within like plus 2 or 3 degrees. And I would sit there, okay, well, you know what? It's 78 and it's cloudy. Okay, it's 78 degrees. I'm going to take 50 darks. So I know that this is good between 75 and 79 degrees outside. Right. You know what I mean? Whether and that's what I did. It seemed to work for me. I mean, that's not perfect, but it seemed to work for me when I was doing DSLR like 20 years ago with my Rebel XT #1 XT. You know,
Yeah.
the D300 or 350, I think it was. Yeah, well,
Yeah, 'cause-
unfortunately, Josh, you know, there was no such thing when I was doing CCD as an ASI Air. So I had to, there was nothing that was going to give me CCD temperature at that point in time. This was really probably the early 2000s. Yeah, but Dave, you know, I kind of left my subs all at the same sub length, and I wasn't very good. I wasn't very successful. Not that I'm any good now. With DSLR photography. I wasn't very successful at it. I didn't understand the finer points, like let's say, of figuring out the light pollution and what I could get away with, or you know, there was no YouTube where I could sit there and say, hey, you know what, I'll just look up Sean Nielsen and see what I got to do. You know, that wasn't around, and it's just I had to learn by putting my knees in the mud, polar aligning the scope, getting the crank in the neck, trying to polar align the Schmidt Cassegrain because it was literally a pain in the neck. It wasn't literal pain, it was an actual pain in the neck because you were underneath the wedge trying to figure out where the scope is because the scope eyepiece and your reticle is underneath. So it was not fun doing astrophotography in the pre-digital age. It was not fun at all.
Yeah.
That's why for a long time my scope, my camera, and everything literally sat in a closet until the digital age came in, and then I said, okay, you know what? Go-to's here. We could start doing something, and started from there.
Yep.
No, Dave, we don't walking up the hill. We're running up that hill. Remember that. Run up that hill.
Run up that hill.
Sorry. But I did get some new toys. Here we go.
Yes. Whoa, there they are.
Okay. This is part one. Part one of the toys. So this is the Primaluce Giotto. And they're flat fielders. And they're smart flat fielders. I don't know why they're smart, but they're smart.
They're smart.
And they are ASCOM. They could be done with Nina. They could do everything. I bought one for the AP scope and one for the 80 Esprit. And I'm waiting on, and you can't really see a good picture of it, but you kind of can see it here. This is the Alto right here, and it actually raises and moves the flat field 270 degrees, so it goes underneath the dovetail, so it doesn't catch wind. It'll do anything, and it's all automatic. The flip motor is not out yet. It is coming. They are coming in 3 different sizes. It's called the Alto. And it's a small, medium, and large because they're making flat fueled panels 420, I think, millimeters and larger. I mean, this is crazy. But they need different motors to kind of move it around. If you want, I'll show you no, it doesn't work with the ASI Air. You need an Eagle or
it doesn't.
You need an Eagle or Nina, or with a either a NUC or something.
Now, I'm looking here at the 220. They're not that bad of a price, I guess.
No, they're when you add the Alto in, it turns out to be the same cost as a Spica flat, a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
Because the you figure the flat panel average for 6 inches or better, something like $350. And then the Alto is going to be another $200-$300.
Yeah, depending on the size you get, because I was just
Exactly.
looking at the 220 millimeter, and that one is 435
Yep.
for 220, which is basically for your your Schmidts, like your 8-inch Schmidt, and I think you have to go a little bit larger for the 9 1/4.
Yeah. So here you go. Here's a little little stop motion video that they made, right? So here's the Alto, and you can see what happens, and it literally goes all the way down underneath the dovetail. So
Yep.
there's no wind catching.
Yep.
And it works as
Which
a
is
dust
really,
cover.
yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw pictures of this a while back and thought it was really, really smart engineering design the way they did this.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not for the SIR. Who knows? Maybe ZWO will be ZWO. And, just saying. Not going to go there.
Dave said when you get your observatory, you can just paint a white panel on the inside. Yeah, Dave, why don't you come over and survey my land so we could do that? There you go. So, better budget for it does for. Don't worry. Don't worry about the dovetail plate. I got the dovetail plate for it. Not a problem.
Yeah.
I got a 495 sitting here just waiting for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because like Dave was saying, give it time. ZWO will come in with their own.
It's all gonna happen.
It's all gonna happen.
Someone needs to jailbreak the ASIR. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of the ASIR, I think. But I mean,
it's really, if you jailbreak it, then it's on nothing more than a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, you may as well just get your own Raspberry Pi and put K-stars on it or something.
Yeah.
And that's it. But then you can put whatever you want on it. You don't have to worry about. Don't have to worry about proprietary issues. Oh wow! Let's see.
Hold on first.
What's up?
Hold on, no.
So one thing is that we're actually 18 members away from hitting 1,300 subscribers. Pete, are you there? Or are you still? Oh, there you go. Okay. I thought you were frozen, Pete. I'm sorry.
Nope, still here. Yeah.
Well, we're back to, again, we're going to be 1,300. We are 18 away from 1,300 subscribers. So be nice to grab some subscribers, guys. Please, please share the show with everybody. Everybody watching us loves what we do, loves how we handle ourselves. So please, share the show, get some subscribers. Everybody bring a friend in. It'd be nice.
Yeah, bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
Share. Unsubscribe, resubscribe. Yeah, there you go.
No, don't do that, Norm. That doesn't help. That actually hurts more than it helps, actually, if you unsubscribe and resubscribe. That actually hurts more. Because you know what it does to me? It gives me a heart attack. Because every time we lose a member, because we do, every once in a while, people unsubscribe, and you're like, oh no, what did we do? What did we do wrong? Why did we do wrong? What did we do wrong?
Makes us, that stuff keeps us up at night, guys.
It definitely keeps me up at night. I don't know, because I lost a Twitter follower the other day. I'm like, why? Why did I?
What happened?
What did I do? I didn't do anything bad. I guess they just didn't like my dog. I guess they didn't like Pepper.
Yeah, like, what do you got against Pepper? What do you got against Titan? He's a cutie.
Titan's a monster.
He is. He's a stinky monster.
Titan's a beast. But yeah, so I'm looking real forward to doing a little unboxing of the Giottos. I'm going to be doing that probably this weekend. And Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm looking
Good.
forward to
Have
it.
fun.
You know what?
fun.
You know what the funny thing is? I don't even need these, but I bought them. Why?
You bought them anyway, right?
Because I'm a Prima Luce hooker. I'll just buy anything in a red box.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
That's what it is.
You know,
just love that red box.
No, you know what? In all fairness, just like even ZWO does a really good job of their equipment. Many of the distributors out there, with the exception of one or two that I can think of right off the top of my head, are really reputable suppliers of the stuff that we need to do.
Yeah.
Telescope makers, focuser makers, eyepiece camera makers, all these, with the exception of a couple. But there are some scams out there. Just be careful. That being said, when kind of like when you buy something and you get good results out of it, you kind of want to see what else that same line has to offer because of your experience, and that's how you build that brand loyalty and all that kind of stuff. And my brand loyalty, I've always premised myself saying, listen, I don't want to be the guy that's stuck down to anything, because I like trying different things, and I still do. Even though I have a lot of Prima Luce stuff, I got Moonlight, I got Optic focusers, I got Moonlight focusers, I got William Optics rotators. So, I got other stuff in there, but the bigger stuff, the more higher end stuff is definitely for me been the Prima Luce stuff.
Right. Okay.
The Flip Flap by Optech is great. Yep, they do a really good job. Yeah, I wish there was a test drive option. Yeah, you know what the test drive option is? It's called PayPal. Pay with PayPal and then send it back. No, just kidding. Don't do that. 9:30. Let's see. Let's see. I just paid a bill. I didn't even know it. Oh, Nigel Arnold. Thank you. Nigel just switched over to Patreon as well. Thank you, Nigel.
Awesome.
The captain is already twisting the knife in my back, saying, "Spin the wheel."
There it goes.
Steve, you always wants me to spin. Steve is the first one to say it almost every time. He's like, "Spin the wheel. I want to go to bed."
Right, that's the bed now. Spin the wheel.
Actually, what we should do is talk about the picture of the week first. That's what we should do first.
Yeah.
So why don't we do that? Because we got to do picture of the week and picture of the month.
Okay.
All right. So let me share my screen real quick. All right. And we'll go to where's the go here and AstroWorld live site. All right. So picture of the week, right? All right. So picture of the week, we have SH2115, and this was 2112. Like I thought, I got confirmation from the author. And then we got Greg's wide field with Andromeda.
Yeah, nice Milky Way shot.
And then we got NGC 7000 and the Pelican. Now I see the Pelican. This picture is the first picture I could actually see the Pelican. I guess I need a wider field to see it because, now I kind of see it, but I never really see it.
I never really see it.
Never really see it. I never see it like Eric sees the flaming skull.
Shut up. God, thank you, Tegan.
And Andromeda Galaxy. And the Iris Nebula by Mike. And M11 by Josh. I think that's the last one. Yep, that's the last one. So let's see what we
had
got.
quite a few.
Yeah, we had 5. So image of the week on September 23rd. We got 25 votes. So a little weak, guys and girls.
Pick it up.
Little weak. Look at this. Nothing has beat this. So I have a feeling that the people that did this week, I think they got their family and friends to do that, because we haven't broken 100 since then. But I think it was a family and friend thing. But here we go. Weekend, September 23rd. And the winner is Greg Meyer with 9
Greg!
votes. The Andromeda Galaxy Milky Way Wide Field
Congrats, Greg.
by by 1 vote.
By 1 vote.
By 1 vote.
1 vote. Wow.
Dave, should have called mom, dad, sister, brother to get you 2 more votes.
Your vote doesn't count.
Yep. So 8 votes to Dave. So nice job to everybody on that. And then we got picture of the month, right? We only had 2 because we had one person who wasn't eligible because they already have a picture of the month. So picture of the week, George Lutch with the bubble, and Bob MX Quattro with the crescent. Those are the only 2 we have this month. Right?
Really?
Well, yeah, because we had 2 people that won the pictures of the week that won picture of the month already, so they weren't eligible for another one.
No, I know. Just Titan's making his self known.
All right, so picture of the month nominee for August. We have 2 picture of the month nominees. We had 36 votes. Okay, we had 36 votes. So we ready to crown the picture of the month?
That's it.
We got the drum roll, please.
And the winner is
by 4 votes, Bob MX Quattros.
Bob.
Nice job to Bob. What's that?
Hey, with the NBZ.
With the NBZ filter, yes, that has been a show favorite ever since Eric introduced us to it about a year ago now, and
it's awesome.
It is an awesome filter. So, congratulations to Bob. You'll be on the website and all that. So, congratulations.
Congratulations, there, sir.
There we go. So you got Bob and Greg Myers. Congratulations to both. Nice job.
Yeah, for real.
Awesome.
No, that's
and cool. I guess the last thing is the Masters of Pixinsight class. And there you go. So let's grab the Masters of Pixinsight class. So there we go. So tonight we're giving away the Masters of Pixinsight Workshop, and all you need to do.
Isn't this their newbie?
It's another one. It's next steps for newbies.
Okay.
They already started their 3rd round last month, I believe, of the newbies session. But you can still get that first session if you want to. So the next workshop is October 11th, 2022. It's a Tuesday night at 7:00 Eastern. Normally $35. Okay. And next steps for newbies, if you go to visit our workshop page, and what they're going to do is, where is it? Next step for newbies is right here, the 3rd one. Take it up a notch, expand on basic workflow, powerful tools and techniques for both one-shot color and monochrome cameras. If you win tonight, you could use it for any workshop on the webpage, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or if you want to talk about photons to photos, where they actually do an entire image from beginning to end, and they go through it in about 2 hours. And it's a really good opportunity to get some insight from some of the masters, some some of the best people in the business, Ron Breacher, Warren Keller, and Peter Pruill, who are all awesome astrophotographers in their own right, and definitely take a look at it. And so, on that being said, we got the wheel here, and for a free workshop, here we go.
All right. Winner, 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 winner.
Paul Abbott. Congratulations, Paul. I'll send you an email tomorrow, and you will be able to get a follow-up email by Peter Pruill, which will tell you how to redeem your voucher for the Masters of Pixinsight Workshop. So congratulations to Paul.
Congrats, congrats, congrats.
Paul bought my Tech 140, Dr. Paul Abbott.
Oh, there you go. So we got a couple of things coming up that are not guest related. If I could just get my calendar up. So Wednesday, the 28th, we have the AstroWorld TV Critique Night. So make sure that you get your photos in for critique by the panel. That's the night, the last Wednesday of the month, that we give critique on photos that our members take. So we all grab them and take a look at them and pixel people a little bit and check them out. After that, coming in October 5th, we have the most creatively messed up Astrophoto Night. Okay, try and say that 5 times in a row. But so definitely there is a messed up Astrophoto web in the Google Drive. There's a folder. If you want to take a look and see what's in there, put it in your mess up. I'm going to put mine in there, and I'm not even going to tell anybody it's mine. So I'll give it up if it's mine. I won't win anything, but I'm just saying. I'm just going to throw one in there. Anybody can throw one in there. Guys, throw one in there. You know what I mean? We'll just throw everything in there. But that's something that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a great. And then the 14th, that Friday, is actually going to be the host critique show.
Okay.
So that's when maybe we'll throw it out to some members to actually come on the show and critique our photos. Right?
Okay.
And then, of course, that's it. And then there's going to be a lot of dark nights in October, unfortunately, because I'm going to be away a lot of the month. I'm going to be away from the 9th to the 12th. I'll be in Chicago. I'll be hanging out with Eric at least one of those nights.
So let me know. Keep me posted.
Dan, how many photos should we submit since there's 4 of us? Or how many is there going to be? Is there going to be more of us that want to submit? Do we submit 2 photos? I mean, what do you think? I think two photos. What do you think, guys?
2 should be more than enough. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
then we got
2 would be ideal.
2, 4, 6, and maybe Scott will put 1 in there somewhere. No Speedo shots, Scott.
No way.
No European bathing suits either. I don't want to see that either.
I was going to say, is there anybody else that we want to kind of invite that want to submit their photos in terms of like
for the host critique or the or for the
host
regular
critique? I mean, we've had some guest hosts like Tegan. Does Tegan want to submit any of his images? So we should reach out to him as well.
Yeah, we can put it on the AstroWorld admin.
Yeah, let's do that. So 2 photos then. Okay.
Yeah, because I know that Tegan will put some in. I know Jesse will put some in.
So 2 each, right?
Yeah,
2 each. Okay.
That's going to be October 14th. So it's what is that? That's almost 3 Fridays. That's 3 Fridays from now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, and then
2022 through.
And what was that?
I said 2022, man. I mean, we're already in October. That's amazing. It goes by so quick.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the second day of fall already. What the hell?
I know. It's just like,
Winter will be here before you know it.
yep.
All I know is that on October 13th, I think it is. Oh, wait a minute. When's the Islander game?
Yeah.
That might be on a Wednesday. Was it? Oh no, it's October 13th. Yes, 13th.
Yeah, so the 14th, is that a Friday?
14th is a Friday, yeah.
Yeah, so we do that on a Friday. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, cool. All right, well, it's like 9:45. You want to do like a final thought swing around, or does anybody have anything else?
No. Good.
Oh man.
I'm
sorry.
Just let you know. I have been in contact. I've been corresponding with Carlos, who is the co-founder of Reach for the Stars, and we're trying to solidify his schedule because he's getting married soon, so he's got some things coming up. So I'm asking him for a few different dates. It's for October and November, and then I'll get back to you, and then we'll try to figure out what slots could be open, and then we can go back and forth and say, okay, these are what we have open. What works for you, type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be great. I haven't heard anything yet from my guy yet, but
okay.
I'm just wondering. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna pull the trigger on the. You know what? Everyone's asking about in the chat, and I keep on saying, I am gonna pull the trigger on this guy again. I'm gonna spin the wheel on it right now because this is something that was a paid. It was a raffle, paid raffle.
Yeah.
So I still have the original one with all the tickets here, and I'm gonna just spin it right now. How about that?
Go for it. Another bonus spin on a Friday. A Friday bonus spin.
Bonus spin. Here we go. So I actually have the original wheel. I saved it. Hopefully somebody wins this thing. I just can't get rid of it.
Actually wants it.
Here we go. You ready? Player one camera. We're going to spin it right now. I want to see if there's anything in the chat right now. Player one. Okay, we're going to spin it right now. So you ready? Here we go. Please, somebody take this. Please. Take my wife, please. No.
Oh, you will be in so much trouble. Timothy
Sessions. Didn't he win it the first time?
I don't know.
I think he did. I think he did the first time.
We'll find out, and if we're not,
I will give Timothy a shout out. And we'll see.
You know what? We'll give Timothy a shout, and then if not, we're gonna keep spinning this.
We're gonna spin every week until we give it away.
It's the gift that just doesn't want to keep on giving, right?
It's been literally sitting. Tyler gave this as a giveaway like 2 years ago.
I mean, the question is, can't you even use it as a guide camera?
Yeah, it's a 290.
That's what I said, man. Anybody use it as a guide camera, for crying out loud.
It's an IMX 464 Neptune camera. It's nice.
That's funny.
But
it's one gift we just can't give away, man.
I will find out even if I have an email for Timothy. I don't know. And just so we know, the book that was not claimed was claimed. So this is now going to Susan Vieira, if I spelled it right, if I pronounced it right. She actually didn't see my email. It first went into her spam, so I put in big letters, second attempt, like a debt collector. And and so she's like, oh my God, I didn't see it. I can't believe I won. So I'm going to send this out tomorrow. So congratulations to Susan.
Just let everybody know, even if you don't win the book, believe me, it's worth the money to buy that book because it's your planner. And literally right now, you're planning now for the winter. You can plan for the spring, and you can plan for the summer. That book is worth its weight in gold. And when people sell me, they go, well, Pete, what should I image? get this book. This book will tell you exactly what you want to image, and it'll have everything highlighted that you need. It's worth the weight in gold, and it's worth its price, believe me. And then I've got one other thing I want to mention just in closing, is if you go to, remember last week we were talking about tilt.
I'm back.
Everybody is having issues with tilt, and it's funny how this thing comes up, and Dan and I were talking about this offline. If you go to AstroBin and you go to the home site on fixing the dreaded tilt and backspacing error, and this person absolutely has done a phenomenal job on talking about why now we're doing band-aid fixes with tilt and why it really is an issue with the manufacturers. If you've got a chance to read it, you really should, because you're right. It's just basically all these tilt adapters are just band-aid fixes from a manufacturing perspective. And it's a great read, and a lot of people have actually chimed in on it. So definitely take a read on that.
I just put it into the chat right now. So I put the thread in the chat. But as far as the books that, these are my copies. I have them. And then this book was so good, I just had to get the 3rd edition. So I got the 2 of them. And if you want a really nice coffee table book that is really written well, and I've been thumbing through it, and I just had to get it. It's just the images and everything are just gorgeous in this book.
Yep.
Get this book.
The prefix is actually written by Dr. Christian Sassy, so they'll definitely be talking about that when all 3 of them come on the show.
I mean,
but it's a great coffee book.
The pictures are just awesome. I mean, it's really incredible on these images, and it's really outstanding. And they also give the planner right from the book that you have. It gives you from the planner, and it's really it's $75, but you know what? It's hardcover and it's awesome. So check it out. Really good stuff. Then this is actually written by, not only the foreword is by Dr. Sass, but the other 2 that were the credited authors, Dr. Whitby and Charles Bracken, wrote this book. So really good stuff. So I have become a collector of books of people that have been on the show. So I got Chris Woodhouse's books, I got Bracken's books, I got everybody's book. My bookcase is getting huge. But if I only had the time to read them, it'd be nice. But they are good books, and they are good informational books. They're really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all right. So, final thoughts, anybody?
No, I think we got everything, man. I think it was another great show. I mean, I'm looking forward to Dr. Sass coming up, soon. Is it next month or is it November?
November 9.
So it's a lot of cool things happening. So thanks everybody for your support, continued support. Really appreciate it. But everybody just have a great weekend. Just get out there and just enjoy the weekend. If you got clear skies, clear nights, enjoy them. Have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm getting some notes on Discord. So, yeah. Awesome. Yep. All right, Pete.
Well, just another great show. Great being on Wednesdays and Friday nights, hanging out with Eric and Scott and Dan. Always a pleasure. And as I said, just a great time hanging out, guys. Just enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, just one more thing. Talking about Charlie Bracken. Don't forget, if you guys want a custom planner like I got, do not forget, you can email him, and I think he only charges like $20. And they were really cool. You can go to email him your information, like your GPS location, your longitude and latitude, and email him at deepskyprimer@gmail.com. And you can get a customized primer. You can go and get a customized AP planner. I mean, they're fantastic. So because like to Pete's point, you want to know what's in your sky for that particular month in your area, your longitude and latitude. That's the way to do it. So just want to shout that out. So I think it's a really cool way to get that information out there.
Awesome.
Scott, button down the hatches because it's coming in this week, right?
Yeah.
Why you show the dog?
That's why I'm not looking at my phone.
Yeah, I mean, what? The storm, it ended up toward Bermuda. Is there another one coming his way?
Yeah,
it's gonna slam right into
Florida.
Yeah,
it's coming from basically above South America, so it's right now above Venezuela, and it's supposed to make a hard right over. It's going to sideswipe Jamaica. It's going to go right directly over Havana and head for Cape Coral. It's looking like it's going to hit possibly Tampa straight on.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow. And you know what? I've got my sisters who live in Jackson. My sister lives in Jacksonville. I've got pretty much a lot of my family right now. My sister was having her anniversary and wedding renewal in Jamaica today. And
oh my God.
So I'm really hoping that that everybody stays safe and hopefully
it's gonna miss
Jamaica.
It's not gonna hit Jamaica. It's gonna have to do something really, really bad to hit Jamaica.
Yeah, but just get out, just hopefully, my sisters and family, they just get out of there, get to the mainland, and then get your butts back up here to Chicago. So
now the blue, I don't know if you can see that, but the blue dot is me.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's you, huh?
Wow.
That blue dot's me.
Yeah.
Better get that gold zero charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a whole house generator. I've got hurricane shutters. I've got a whole house generator. I've got a good water filtration system. I just batten down the hatch and spread it out.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Cool.
Just stay safe.
My whole house is basically a concrete block. It's solid concrete all the way up.
So just stay safe.
What's the date, Scotty? Monday, Tuesday?
Wednesday, it's supposed to hit Florida.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, stay safe, my friend.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They're storm tracking on it, so.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk before that happens. But again, everybody, have a good night. Don't forget all the stuff on the list on the schedule. Go check out the schedule, the new format on the website at astroworldweb.com. Don't forget to get your Astro gear on AstroWorld, and don't forget 10% of the profits go to a club donation, which is going to be happening 1 week from tonight. Is going to be the club donation wheel. So if you want your club to be eligible for a $100 donation from the members of AstroWorld, let us know. Hit me up at dan@astroworldweb.com and let us know your Astro club that you're involved with, and I'll put them on the wheel to win the $100 gift certificate from the not gift certificate, $100 donation from the members, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So right now we have 12 Astro groups on the wheel. Like to get a little bit more, so please, get your club involved and let me know. Again, dan@astroworldweb.com. So that being said, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. Another great night. Nice job to Eric on his presentation. Great job. Thanks for the rest of the team for hanging out and being part of the discussion. So everybody, again, have a good night. Have a great weekend. And remember, as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. and we'll see you. Wednesday. We doing one Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. See you in a couple days, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Clear skies.